All right, what's happening there, my mathletes? That's right. Example number two, part two of coming up with the equations of lines in multiple forms, of course, from a graph. So let's go. Let's check out example two. Now, just like example one, right, we're going to take a look. We're going to find some multiple points on there. We're going to calculate the slope, and then we're going to write it in multiple forms. So if we look at example two, let's come up with some points on the graph, shall we? Now, remember, we want lattice points, so I want a point like this one. We're going to call this point A, and that'd be for 1. Then we're going to look at another point over here. This point looks like that's a lattice point, so we're going to call that point B. That has the coordinates 2 and then -2. Then I'm going to use those 2 points because I'm not quite sure about this point right there. It may or may not cross right there at -0, -5, but I want to check. So I'm going to go over and down. So I'm going to create a step size. That's our rise run. So if I look at the rise, I go up 1, 2, 3. So my rise is 3 and my run is 2. So I have a rise of 3 and a run of 2. So let's check that. Check that. So if I were to start right here and go up 1, 2, 3 and over 2, hey, I get the same step size. So that's cool. So that does point, that other point, point C, that would be have the coordinates 0, -5. So all of those points would be on there. So those are my ABC points. My ABCs, my 1, 2, 3s. Now also with that, I just calculated my slope, right? We calculated our slope because of the rise and the run. And I came up with a slope of 3 over 2 because that's a slant of a positive line. We got 3 over 2 for our rise run, so we're good. So when we take a look at this, let's check it out, right? In slope intercept form, so we got slope intercept form. That would be the equation, of course. We came up with a slope of y equals mx plus b. Our slope was 3/2 x, and then our y-intercept, we actually found that from the picture too, and that was just minus all the way down there at -5. So we're done with that. Now, if I want to go from here, because I got my other two forms, right? On the first example, it was kind of nice because I go point slope form, standard form I could do just because my x value was negative. But here in the standard form, I'm actually save that one. We're going to come back and do that one next. What I want to do here is going to go to the point slope form. So if I look at point slope form, that's going to be a little bit easier. So point slope form, when we have that one, we've got three options, right, for a point. So for point A, we would have the equation, because I know my slope, right? We calculated our slope before, 3/2, so that value is going to be the same in all these. But if I use point A, I'd have y minus 1 equals 3/2 times x minus 4. But if I use point B instead, I would have y, and I got to be careful, not minus -2, but plus 2 equals 3/2 again, and then this time x minus 2, because that's my x-coordinate. Now, point C is going to be a little bit tricky. So anytime you have a y-intercept, when you know the y-intercept, check out what this equation turns out to be. So you're going to have y minus -5, so that's going to go y plus 5. And then we're going to write this twice here. So you're going to have 3/2 again, because that's our slope. But when you have an x 0, you're not to worry about writing x minus 0 because you would actually simplify that. And the correct version of this equation would be this: y equals 3/2 x, or y plus 5 equals just 3/2 x. Because if you were to distribute 3/2 times 0, that would just be 0. So you don't have to worry about that part. So either one of those would be okay for point slope form. It would be perfectly fine. Now, from there, we've got to change that into standard form. So it doesn't matter which version we pick, we would end up with the same equation in standard form, right? So this one, what we're going to do, and I'm just going to use point A to go off of that. So for standard form, so let's kind of go over here for standard form, and we're going to have to do a little multiplying and everything to work our way through that. And by this point, you guys are probably pretty solid with that. So I start out with y minus 1 equals 3/2 times that x minus 4. Then you'll multiply, remember, because we've got our denominator here of 2, so we're going to multiply everything by 2. When we do that, we'll end up with 2y minus 2 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 4. Because remember, it's like Tetris. Everything drops down from there except for that numerator and the fraction 3/2. Distributing gives us 3x minus 12. We still have our 2y minus 2. We got to move the things around. So 3x goes over the other side and becomes negative 3x. So I have my plus 2y. And then when I move the -2 over to the other side and combine that with -12, 12 plus 2, and ends up giving me -10. Now, remember, we always got to analyze right here this A value. And is that A value positive? Nope. So we got to switch all the signs. So again, be careful of that. Be really careful. Just change the signs. 3x minus 2y equals +10. So this would be the final version. No matter which point you used there, you would end up with 3x minus 2y equals 10 for the standard form value. All right, so that's it for this one. We got one other one here for you to try on your own. So I'm going to have you pause the video and try that one on your own and come up with at least 3 points for the point slope form. But try that on your own and then come on back and let's see how you did for those 3 forms. All right, so how did you guys do with this one? Hopefully you came up with multiple forms in that point slope form, and they should all match mine to some degree there, right? And then a standard form, no matter which point you choose, you should end up with a value of x minus 2y equals 6 for that value. And again, slope intercept form, pretty straightforward stuff here. You pick any 2 points and you make those steps, and each step has the same rise run value. They all have the same size and they go up 1/2. So your slope is going to be 1/2. And of course, you can look at that line. It's got a positive slant, so that'd be positive slopes. That'd be our 1/2. So that's it for this video, man. Thank you guys for watching. You got any questions, be sure you reach out, let me know. Otherwise, man, make this the best day ever. There's simply no good reason not to. You'll be the best version of you no matter what you do, always. I'll catch you later. Peace out, Cub Scouts.